Well, I can't believe we're almost in August because that means football is almost here. The Jets and Giants reported to training camp last week. So how are things looking for the teams as we head into the 2025 season? Here to break it down is our friend John Schmelk. John, thanks so much for coming on today. Hope all is well, my friend.
Same with you, Mike. Always good to talk to you. Football season is here.
Just as the Mets are getting good again, I have to pay attention to football now. So a few things to get to, but let's start with the Jets and head coach Aaron Glenn. How does he seem to be adjusting to his new role, and how will he be different than Robert Saleh?
Well, on the other hand, if you're a Yankee fan, I think you're very happy that football season is here with the way they've played the last month.
That is true, too, yes.
Absolutely. Look, I think Aaron Glenn, I don't think Robert Saleh was a bad coach. I want to be clear about that, and I think we saw the team play worse after he got let go last year, to be quite honest with you. I think Aaron Glenn brings a level of energy, especially as a former player, a level of intensity, his ability to talk to players and interact with them and relate to them, I think is something he brings to the field that's really strong. And much like Robert Saleh, I think he's a really good defensive tactician. You saw when he was at the Lions last year, he's somebody that even when they had all their injuries on that side of the ball, he was able to get his team to play at a fairly high level. The Jets will play a lot of man-to-man defense this year on defense rather than zone, which is what they were primarily under Saleh. So I think those are some of the key differences. But I think until we get into the season and when we see how this starts going and starts looking, you're really not gonna know much about new teams, new coaches until they face some adversity and see how they handle it.
Now, I thought this was interesting. Justin Fields dislocated his toe last week. He's returned on a limited basis, so it's not a total bummer. But as a Jets fan, it was hard not to think of the Aaron Rodgers injury. Jets quarterback gets injured so early in the season. Hopefully, it's as minor as they're making it out to be. Should Jets fans feel good about Fields as he takes over for Rodgers?
Yeah, I was out on the practice field here for the Giants when the Fields news broke, and someone told me to look at my social media. I glanced at it, and it was utter panic for everybody. And look, I understand. Jet fans have been on the wrong side of some of these quarterback injuries over the years. You want to go back as far back when Vinny Testaverde tore his Achilles the year after the Jets got to the AFC title game. So I get it, but I think they're fortunate that it looks like he's going to be okay. You never want to see a lower body injury for a quarterback that uses his athleticism and his legs like Justin Fields does. I think he'll be okay. I think you're still waiting to see how much he develops as a quarterback. I don't think he's gotten to where he needs to be be considered a top half of the league starter quite yet. You hope as he continues to get older, he gets a little bit better, and you'll see if he can do that with the Jets this year. But I think if the Jets can utilize his athleticism and size in the quarterback run game to really complement which is a really good stable of running backs they have there with Breece Hall, Braylon Allen, Isaiah Davis, I think that will make up for some of his lack of consistency in the pass game.
Now, John, on the whole, what are the Jets expected to be good at this year that maybe they were weak at last year? At the very least, how will their plan of attack be different this year?
Well, I think I talked about on defense already in terms of they're going to play a lot more man than they did last year. I think they hope that their pass rush will be a little bit more consistent as Will McDonald is there for another year. He's another year older. You hope he can step in and do a nice job. I think, they've had a lot of youth on the offensive line, on the offensive side of the ball. So I think as their young guys get better, I think you expect that offensive line, Fashanu is going to be heading into a second year. You hope, Elijah Vera Tucker is healthy for the whole year, that group continues to improve, and that becomes a strength of their team when in the past it's been a weakness, I think. So I think as those guys get older and they mature, and it takes offensive linemen a year or two sometimes, I think that could really be a strength of their game on offense. And, last year with Aaron Rodgers, I think they really tended to be more of a passing team. I would guess this year with again, I mentioned their running backs and that young offensive line, they're more of a run, play action, and then find Garrett Wilson in the passing game type of team.
Now, as one veteran quarterback left New York in Aaron Rodgers, another one entered. Russell Wilson joined the Giants heading into his age 36 season. You have to figure anything would be better than Daniel Jones. How did Wilson look during the first Giants training camp?
Wilson is your ultimate floor raiser. He's a guy that you know what you're going to get out of him. He's not going to turn the ball over. He's going to make good decisions. I've never seen one player be so universally praised for just his leadership and his personality. The whole team loves him, and he's brought a level of positivity and energy to this team that I haven't seen here in quite a while, to be honest with you. Now, none of that's going to matter if he doesn't hit the field and play well. So that'll be the most important thing. We're not going to have a feel for that until we get to the regular season. But I think he's somebody that's going to protect the ball, not turn it over. He's very willing and able and good at throwing the ball down the field to make some big plays. He's going to pepper Malik Neighbors a lot with the ball. And the one thing he needs to do a better job of, I think, is avoid sacks. And if he can do those three things and continue to do those things, and I think he'll be in pretty good shape. And the Giants will have probably the highest level of quarterback play they've had in a while. That doesn't mean this is prime Russell Wilson taking the Seahawks to a Super Bowl level of play, but I think he's certainly a guy that will be an improvement over what they've had here the last couple of years when in aggregate, between the starters and the backups, the Giants probably had some of the worst quarterback play in football the last 2 seasons.
Now, you mentioned Malik Neighbors. The chemistry between the young Malik Neighbors and the veteran QB Russell Wilson seems to be strong so far, even if it's very early still. If all goes well, how big of a dynamic duo can they be for the team?
Yeah, look, they did not practice together in the spring. Malik Neighbors was trying to manage and get over a sore toe, a toe injury, which didn't have surgery or anything like that. But they've been on the field and through 4 practices. This is the Giants' 5th practice today. It's their first padded practice. They've been connecting very, very often, and they're always talking to each other. Malik Neighbors has spoken glowingly about Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson has spoke glowingly about Malik Neighbors. So I think Wilson is really going out of his way to make sure that he builds chemistry with Neighbors, and I think Neighbors is excited to have a quarterback there that's willing to give him opportunities to make plays down the field.
I know Brian Dable addressed the media just before you hopped on. What was his message?
Look, I think a lot of talk today was about just being in pads for the first time and how now you can get a better look at your offensive line specifically, especially in the run game. Your defensive line can start running games, which are stunts and twists, where you have guys kind of setting picks for each other on pass rush drills. You can have bull rushes. You can see how offensive linemen anchor. You can do double teams in the run game. Things that you can't do in the spring and in non-padded summer practices, you can do today. But at the same time, you want to make sure, while it's a physical and competitive practice, you don't have any fights or shoving matches or anything like that where guys can get hurt. So be competitive, be physical, but be safe and don't get anyone injured.
John, final question. Jets have their first preseason game against the Packers, I believe, August 9th. Giants are going up against the Bills the same day. Any predictions for those matchups?
Look, I think predicting preseason games is impossible. I think I'll give you a couple broad thoughts. Don't take too much out of preseason games, especially when you have third stringers going against third stringers. And teams don't really scheme for these games. They're not the reality of what a National Football League game is, so don't take too much out of them, except for maybe how an individual player might play on an island. I think you could take something out of that. The Giants will play Jackson Dart a bunch. I think you're going to see him on the field probably for at least a quarter and a half, maybe 2 quarters in that first preseason game. We'll see if Russell Wilson or Jameis Winston go. But I think the Giants are going to try to get Jackson Dart a good amount of time on the field in these exhibition games, because they don't know how much work he's going to get during the year once the season starts. If Russell Wilson plays as well as they hope he does, he's probably not going to see the field. So you want to get him as much work in this preseason as you can, and I think they'll try to do that. So that'll be a highlight for Giant fans tuning into these summer games where you're going to get to see Jackson Dart on the field, where maybe during the year you're not going to see a whole ton of that.
Well, I hope both teams turn things around this year because it has been too long. John Schmelk, thanks so much for taking the time today.
You're telling me.
Coming up, PGA golf coach Jeremy Eccles just led a group of youngsters to their 5th championship since 2019. We'll talk about the event when we come back. More than 100 young golfers took part in the 2025 New Jersey PGA Junior League Section Championship at Coakley-Russo Memorial Golf Club. PGA golf coach Jeremy Eccles, who serves as the head of junior development at Fiddler's Elbow Country Club, led the 13 and under team to their 5th championship since 2019. Jeremy joins me now to talk about the event as well as his journey in the golf world. Jeremy, thanks so much for coming on today.
Mike, I'm happy to be here.
So, Jeremy, let's go back to the beginning. How did you first get interested in golf, and how did it lead you on a path towards where you are now?
I think I was in that Tiger era, that 96, 97. You see this junior golfer just do things that wasn't around. And, it just inspired me. I think I found some clubs and started hitting some balls, actually acorns in my backyard. And my father saw me and was like, "You got an interest in this?" And I was always a hockey player, just loved doing activities. And he kind of just fostered the relationship, brought me to the course, and used to get up early as a seventh, eighth grader at 5 a.m. and play back nine with dad. So that's kind of how I got into it.
That's awesome. So who were some of your early influences, role models, favorite players, anyone you really looked up to besides Dad and Tiger Woods?
Yeah, well, obviously those two were pretty influential, but you know, I had such a great environment where I was. I grew up in a town, Dennis, Massachusetts, on Cape Cod, and we had PGA professionals. I didn't even know what they were. Jay Haverhill, and he was there for 30 years, and we had such a great junior program that was just ahead of its time, not just on just opening up to the community. So that kind of was an influence on me. I got surrounded by other great players and surrounded by great leaders, and just took it from there.
Now, the championship, for those who might not be familiar, talk a little about how this championship event works and who takes part in it.
Yeah, so the championship takes anyone can take part in it. There's over 77,000 kids, I believe, almost 80, that play around the nation. And what happens is coaches, whether they run their league or they're in a league, they pick their top eight all stars. So all stars are obviously maybe the higher level players, and they compete to go through different various stages. So there's kind of like the state stage, New Jersey, and then there's a regional, and then there's a national. Each eliminating only bringing one on. So that's kind of the championship in itself. It's a postseason after the regular season.
Talk about some of the highlights of the event. What were some key moments in the tournament where your players came through?
Yeah. The kids came through so well. We played the same course last year, so we were familiar with it. Obviously, just because it's an age-specific sport, kids phase out, so half teams played it. But we actually played it last year in a little bit of rain, so it was playing soft. And after I watched the kids tee off, they uh, kind of met them at the third hole, each group, asked them kind of where they're at, how they're feeling, and they were all doing actually pretty poorly. Not because of their play, the course was playing firm and fast. So being a little bit experienced, these kids are good. Just give them encouragement, but also telling them, hey, it's a lot of golf holes left. Kind of adapting to the conditions. So that was a pivotal point. And then on one hole, I think it was the seventh hole, I heard one parent just joy with excitement scream, and everybody could hear, and you could hear our team kind of roaring back. One of our kids, Adam Sharif, made a 40-foot putt and just brought the momentum going. So we went from starting off thinking, oh, geez, what are we doing, to just keeping them engaged, keep them being a team unit and going towards the same goal.
It's all about how you finish, not how you start. So in 2021, you guys competed in the national championship at Greyhawk Golf Club in Scottsdale. How was that experience, and how does the atmosphere in Arizona compare to playing in New Jersey?
Oh, wow. Well, I mean, each championship is great for the kids, but if you get the opportunity to play in the nationals, the PGA Junior League and the PGA of America do a crazy good job at organizing the event, making it fun. There's celebrities, there's just games. It's a different world, and the competition is um, out of this world. Our kids we brought there are good. We're hoping to go back this year. It's just an experience I wish every golfer could really partake in, and I wish I could share it with everyone. And I tell everybody, because as the kids phase out after 13, I was like, you just talk to the older kids. They'll say it's a once in a lifetime um, event.
And Jeremy, speaking of kids, how does coaching kids compare to coaching adults? Is it more rewarding to coach the younger generation?
Well, I don't want to have my adults listening when I say this, but for me, it is. It's really a joy. You're bringing more than just golf to them. Whether it's a kid who's just you're trying to get them into the game, something that you love, or it's a kid who's playing at a national level, whether it's the drive, chip, and putt, the PGA Junior League, the AJGA. You can really see these kids are pretty good. I think people think juniors and they think they're just kids playing golf, but these kids are highly competitive, and they develop not only a skill but a game for a lifetime.
Now, in 2020, you earned the NJ PGA Youth Player Development Award. What did it feel like to know that your influence over the younger generation of golfers culminated in this award?
Yeah, it really is a culmination of years. I mean, I feel like I've been teaching golf for almost 20 years, and it was about 5 years in the making of really developing kids, developing programs, creating different avenues. So even though you win it maybe 1 year, it felt like a little 5 year achievement. And I can't be thankful more towards the team that supports me, but the families that believe in me as well.
Now, I love this next part. Your philosophy is apply new concepts with simple thought and action. And when you instill that in kids, it seems to get results. How did you come up with that concept, and why do you think it's so effective?
I think it's something we do at Fiddler's Elbow from our teaching academy. We have, golf can be really scientific. There's biomechanics, there's forces and torques, there's ground force reactions, there's kinematic sequence, there's all these things. And what you're trying to do is get the golfer better. You don't have to show them how smart you are. So, simple concepts are, we have techniques called, Scooby-Doo or skip the rock. And these aren't just for kids, they're for adults too, because at the end of the day, it's athletic motion. And we're trying to train that athletic motion and that hand-eye coordination and all those things. So yeah, if you give it to them in a way they remember key concepts, then they develop those skills and those drills, and they don't think about it as something that complicated.
Now, you don't just apply your talents to the course, you put them on paper as well as a contributing writer for PGA Magazine. Where does your passion for writing come from, and what golf topics do you typically write about?
Yeah, I got to be honest. I'm not the most passionate writer, but I'm passionate about sharing my experiences. And if I can help somebody learn through my mentorship, I'm more than happy to. I think it's just a bigger audience again. You can only help so many people around you. But if there's other PGA professionals or people who are reading those articles, I feel like I'm contributing to a bigger stage.
Now, you coach at Fiddler's Elbow Country Club in Bedminster. How long have you been there, and what makes that course special compared to, say, other courses in New Jersey?
I think Fiddler's Elbow is one of the most special courses anywhere. I've been there 10 years. It's my 10th season. I'm there through the winters. We have an indoor-outdoor golf academy. We have some of the best professionals in the business. My director of golf, George Dietz, my director of instructions, Mike Adams and Danny Harcourt, and the ownership there, the Donovan family. I remember you go in there and one of the first things you see near our pool is a swing set. And I think it was back in the day the PGA CEO came in and said, you can tell this is already family friendly. And we're a 54-hole facility. We are private, but our junior programs are open. The ownership, who's been owning the club for over 60 years, believe in growing the community, growing the game, and our junior programs are open to those who want to start the game or continue their journey.
And Jeremy, last question. I ask this to every coach. You teach them to be better athletes. How do you teach them to be better people for the real world?
Right. It's more than just golf, and especially not everybody's going to be a national player. I think being around PGA professionals, we grew up in this game. You teach core values, responsibility, integrity, honesty, all those things that go through it. So through the game of golf, we're able to provide those learning experiences and really give the kids more than just golf skills. I think, and if you add the PGA Junior League, which is like the Little League baseball, they get those team building skills as well. And the atmosphere and the environment is unrivaled. And no matter if you're just beginning the game or you're a seasoned veteran, find a PGA program. I think you're going to enjoy it. It really is something else. It's changed the way I look at golf.
Jeremy Eccles, thanks so much for taking the time to get today. And again, a big congratulations to you.
I appreciate it, Mike.
Prudential Center was just honored with an award for its excellence in business and fan experience. More on that when we come back. Well, if you can believe it, Prudential Center has already been around for 18 years, and while it remains one of the best arenas in the business, it's also the best in business. At the NHL Club business meetings in Seattle, the Pru won Stanley Award for the Venue Business Initiative, highlighting the excellent fan experience with the arena's Pure Club and East Back Kitchen. Joining me now to talk about the honor is Prudential Center's Executive Vice President of Ticketing and Hospitality, Brian Norman. Brian, thanks so much for taking the time today. Congratulations.
Mike, thanks so much for having me and appreciate it. Looking forward to spending some time with you.
It's all our pleasure. So, as the arena's executive VP in ticketing and hospitality, talk a little about your job, what it entails, and how much work goes into it.
Absolutely. My role and responsibility at the Prudential Center with the New Jersey Devils is ultimately to fill our arena with 17,000 plus fans for every event that comes through the building on a nightly or daily basis. It's whether it's a Devils game, for a packed NHL game, whether it's a concert, whether it's a family show. Whatever the event may be, it's my responsibility to ensure that our fans are coming out. They're having an amazing time, and they're leaving our building with a world-class experience.
Now, a lot has to be prioritized in order to make Prudential Center the awesome venue that it is. Where does fan experience rank on that list of priorities?
Of course, Mike, our fans ultimately are our top priority, ensuring they have the best experience possible the second they walk through the doors to when they get to their seats. And this ranges from the food and beverage experience to the premium clubs and suites that we have at our arena. Frankly, for all seats throughout the arena, it's our job and our responsibility that every fan walks in and walks away with a memorable experience. One of our world-class events at the Pro.
Now, speaking of clubs and suites, Pier Club and East Back Kitchen are both relatively new attractions at Prudential Center with great food from what I hear. Can you talk about what each specializes in and why the fans seem to enjoy them so much?
Absolutely. These initiatives for us, which were unveiled during the start of the 24-25 season, were really created and executed in partnership with our hospitality partners at Levy Restaurants. And East Back Kitchen, which is our recently launched official culinary partner of Prudential Center, really delivers world-class hospitality ranging from our concessions to our premium clubs and suites. And so, for us, in addition to that, we launched the Pier Club at the start of the 24-25 season. It's a brand new premium club that is on the sideline of the arena at Prudential Center. It's a great new offering for us that gives kind of new seating opportunities and new premium seating options for year-round access to the Peru that we haven't had since the arena opened in 2007. It's been met with unbelievable fanfare for all of the 200-plus events that we've had through our venue over the course of the last year.
Now, what are some of the big upcoming events prior to the NHL season where you want to make sure the fans walk away happy?
Well, Mike, it's a busy week this week at the Peru. I'll start there. We are on our second night of Tyler, the Creator tonight. We have K-Pop's Jin in later this week for a two-show run. We have WWE coming in on Friday evening for Friday Night SmackDown, and then we close the week out on Sunday with Linkin Park. So we always have a lot going on, and we're always putting our best foot forward and ensuring that we have a diverse subset of acts and events that are coming through the doors of the Peru. This week is certainly no different, and then we're looking ahead to next month. Next month in August, we're going to welcome in The Who. We're going to welcome in Katy Perry. And then before you know it, we'll be ready to roll for the NHL's Devils preseason starting up in September as well. So we are always busy, 365, 24/7 here in Newark, New Jersey.
That's a great upcoming lineup. Now, do you guys have any plans in motion to further enhance fan experience?
Mike, we're always looking at opportunities to enhance the fan experience at the Prudential Center. Whether it's on the culinary side, on the F&B side, whether it's on the seating side, we have a few more things to share later this summer. So you'll have to check back, and we'll keep you posted as we get ready to launch the NHL season in the next few months.
Now, Brian, there are more than 30 NHL venues. How great was it to win this honor, and what does it say about Prudential Center?
It's an honor. It really is. Being in that room and hearing the commissioner call our name for this award was truly an experience like no other. We were joking that this is the second best Stanley Cup that we can win, but we will certainly take it. And I think it speaks to the work that our team's doing to ensure that the fan experience not only is first class but continues to get better. And so it was a real collaboration, this entire project, between our partners that I referenced before at Levy Restaurants to our construction partners, as well as we went through the process with Phelps Construction. We're really proud of this project. We're really proud of our partnership with Levy Restaurants, and it was truly an honor to win this award in Seattle.
And Brian, final question, might be a loaded one, but when fans come to Prudential Center, what's the takeaway you hope they leave with?
Ultimately, we want them to leave with having an amazing experience. As I referenced before, Mike, we're constantly having a number of different events and a number of different entertainment options coming through the Prudential Center, and so we have a very vast variety of different genres coming through our venue, and we want to ensure whether a fan's coming in for a UFC event, whether they're coming in for WWE on Friday, whether they're coming for an NHL game, or one of the many college basketball events we have at Prudential Center. We want to ensure that they're leaving here, with a first-class experience, and one that we can be proud of, and one that's going to keep them coming back for years to come.
It's fantastic. Brian Norman, Executive VP of Ticketing and Hospitality at Prudential Center. Thanks so much for taking the time today. Congratulations.
Thanks again, Mike. Appreciate the time.
Well, that's it for this week's show. I'll see you next Monday. For all New Jersey sports and news, head over to ONNJ.com.